I'm just checking now to see that it looks like all the microphones are working and my cameras were working. So hopefully we're way to go. What are we doing today? We are, it's all gone wrong. It all went wrong. We're doing a Tuppenny pincushion. Now the whole idea was that it would be a pincushion that would sit on my finger so that as I'm sewing I can just put it in there. And the idea of the Tuppenny was that it would go inside the finished article so that you wouldn't put pins through it. Okay, so I have made a lot. Look at this. I have made a lot of them and they all went not quite right. See, there's mices and it's just not, they don't look like a mice. And then I went for this one and I thought hedgehog. Look, hedgehog, it's even got it's got spines and stuff, and it's just, they just not going right. So so we're going to try one more time. This time we are going to try hand sewing, and I know that a lot of you are allergic to hand sewing, but that's what we're going to try. Hiya everyone. Hi Marilyn. Hi Jean. Hi Anne. How are you? So yeah, we'll go through that again. While there's a couple of you here, I just wanted to show you these. Now, the chap who does my tuffets brought me a present yesterday and I wanted to show you all. Look at these. These are coasters, okay, and he does them himself. So I've got Sarah with White Gecko Craft Lounge, that's there. This one says, the secret to being happy is to have a sick sense of humour and great sewing skills. Well, the sick sense of humour is definitely me. I'm not sure about the great sewing skills right now. It's not hoarding if it's fabric. And my soul is fed with needle and thread. How cool are those? Those are amazing. They're really thick and they come in a box. Look, he made a box. How cool is that box? So I asked him how much. So if you fancy having them, not with Sarah written on it, we'll get your name put on it, or you want to buy them for a friend for as a present, we could do them at £15 for all four, with the box, and then it will be postage and packaging because they're quite heavy. Okay, so if you're interested, drop us a message and I'll see if I can get them done. I love them. I just love them, and it makes me very happy that they fit in this box. Look, it is absolutely perfect. There's no movement or anything, but they are heavy. Anyway, now more of you are there. Hiya Joyce, Kate and Jean. Are you feeling better, Kate? We're going to talk about these pincushions, right? So like I said, the idea was that it would sit on my finger like that, so that as you're going through sewing, you could just stick your pins. It's easy because your hand is there, you'd see it, and you just stick the pins if you have to take them out. And it's just like a stopgap pincushion, really. I've made loads. Look, I have been sewing, I have been trying it, but I couldn't get them to go. It's too small for me to manage on a sewing machine. Okay, this was probably about the closest I was getting. But then when I put my Tuppenny in, which I've lost, it was too small. Okay, so I'm going to try it again now, and we're going to do it by hand. It was the only thing I could think of, was to get it done by hand. I just wanted a hedgehog or a mouse. See my hedgehog? Look at his spines. How cool are those spines? I was really happy with it, but it It's alright as a finger bob, but it was no good on here. It's far too big. So, and I think my felt was just too stiff. It's very stiff felt. So I tried all sorts of different ways of doing it, and it didn't work. So we have two ideas. If this one doesn't work, then we will go on to part 2. So I found some felt which is more movable. I think this is left over from the first tuffet I ever did, or the second tuffet I ever did. I had this on the bottom. It's a very superior, it's quite a superior felt. So, so I've drawn out a little mouse, okay, a mouse shape. Once you put ears on him and a couple of eyes, he'll look like a mouse. He really will. And look, there's already a tail. I could do a tail out of this as well. So I've done that, and what I'll do is I will cut round that. Okay, it's not there, so I'm not using all of it. And then for the bottom, because you have to have the bottom underneath, I've gone 2 inches, which I think that is 2 inches, so I know it's as long as what I'm sewing, and I wanted it wide enough that I could sit the 2p. Now the 2p is to stop the pins going through your finger. If you're a little bit harsh, they could stick into your finger. So that was why there was a tuppenny. And I decided a tuppenny was better than a penny. A penny was too small as far as I was concerned, which is why it's a tuppenny. A tuppence. So, first things first, we're going to cut them out. Oh, I'm glad you're feeling a bit better. It's just rotten, feeling poorly, especially at this time of the year for some reason. I always feel worse at this time of the year. However, at least you're not missing the sunshine and stuff. So by doing it by hand, it means that we can stuff and put the tuppence in a lot easier. So we're going to go along here like this and cut this out like this. So I've heard from Sarah today. They've been on a beach called Thermes. It's black sand, and Phil's been in doing his snorkeling. He does like to snorkel. Now, am I going to put in, if I put in a little nick like that, oops. It's going to be a bit like those when you cut the leg off a chair and it's not quite right, so you cut off another bit on the other side. Right, okay. The idea was to give it a sort of a head, but that's not going to work. Anyway, so we've got those 3 pieces. We've got ears. I've got pink for ears. So I'm going to go round these like that and cut those out. So I've got the ears ready, and we could cut a tail out of the pink, couldn't we? Would that make him a rat more than a mouse? So we're just gonna cut a tail. There you go. It might get in the way, but we'll see. I bought some thread and my needles. Like I say, I have no idea if this is going to work. The idea was there. The other thing that you could do is get some pretty fabric like this and draw a circle. What did you do with the pens there? Draw a circle around a feature. Okay. like that. Better than that. Cut it out, stitches all the way around, okay, all the way around, and pull it, do running stitches, pull it tight, stuff it, put a penny in there, and then close it up, and that will fit. And that would be like a mushroom, but it would be a lot easier than this, but this is the idea and we're going with it. No idea how this is going to turn out, but it's much better than me trying to fight with the machine, I'm telling you. So we're going to thread the needle. I've got big chenille needles because they're big eyes and I can deal with those. I'm going to put a knot in the bottom, and now I'm going to hide the knot in there. We're just going to do a blanket stitch all the way round. This might be one that never ends up on YouTube. You need to have a goodly amount. I tried all sorts of ways. I tried to sew it before I cut it out so that it was easier to sew, and I was just, in the end, I just put it away. I thought I was going to end up breaking something. So, and after the beautiful block that we did on Tuesday, I thought that this would be more my forte, and it wasn't. And as you can see, blanket stitch done like this is not my forte either. Maybe I'm holding it wrong. So what have you all been up to? I saw Sean's post yesterday in Giggle of Geckos about music. She didn't put her music up because Sean has got a very varied choice in music. Now, one of the ways of getting an even stitch is to mark your finger. If you put 2 marks on your finger, you can see where the last stitch was and where the new stitch would be. So you get it very even. So we're just sewing along here. I mean, you could do a running stitch. But we're just putting along here. So what else have I got to tell you? I've got my dressmaking course today. So after work I'm off to Swansea to do that. It's lovely. I love it. She's such a nice lady, and this week I have my toile all made, so I get to do fitting this week. How does it stay on your finger? We are going to put it onto elastic. I hope it's going to look cute. It's been a bit the mushroom with some lace around it. Yeah, I mean, if you've got an old ring, oh, that didn't work. What did I do there? If you've got an old ring, that you could set it on that. If you are a jewellery maker, there are rings out there that you can stick things to. But I've got a bit of elastic. I was going to put the elastic on there. I like the idea. See, I don't know whether you know, when we choose our 1 o'clocks, we have a look and see, and we think, all right, well, this is how I do it anyway. I'm going to make that. And then I learn how to do it. So quite often, by the time we get to you, we might have had a practice, but we were learning first time as well. So it becomes an interesting thing. This is why we always say, if you've got something that you want, I don't mind learning it, because coming up with a new technique every week is becoming quite difficult. We might have to start going back over stuff. Right, so well, it looks more like a dinosaur. Could have been a dinosaur. So I have that bit. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to put this bit in there. Hopefully. I'm hoping this will go in there. And where are we with this end? So if I put this in and sew down one side, we can always trim it at the other end if need be. But I'm doing this. Now, it's not a very interesting one because you're watching me sew. Oh, we're going the other way now. So we've been watching I can't remember what it's called, but it's about the Birmingham riots. It's a bit silly as far as I'm concerned. The Birmingham riot bit was interesting because we were living in Birmingham at the time, and the music scene is good, but the boy that it's all about is a bit strange. So what else are you doing? Oh, it's Sarah. I hope she's. I hope you've got a pint in front of you now, girl. So we were just saying, or I was saying, that this project went totally wrong, Sarah. I've done loads of them and they all turned out wrong. So we've gone to the hand sewing bit. So we're just going through the hand sewing. So did Phil see a lot of fish today? Are you still there? Tell us about your holiday. Tell us all your news. Watermelon and a pint. Well, there are worse combinations. So, how hot is it there today? Is it still boiling? I know that it's been very warm. Right, so this is his bottom end. So we're going to stick a tail in there as we go round. Looks like an armadillo tail. Perhaps he's more of a rat than a mouse. I think my stitching should have gone a bit longer, I think, on my thread. So we've got a class coming up. That's a catch-up class. So it means that you'll be able to come and sit with like-minded people and do some catch-up with us there, one of us there, to talk through anything that you're stuck on. We used to do this when we were in the shop, because quite often people would sign up for all the classes but never have time to finish anything. So I'm not sure when that is Oh, 36 degrees, that is hot. I'm not sure on the date of when it is, but if you have a look on the website, you'll be able to see that we have this catch-up class coming up, which is always nice because you can always put something something in place then that you've looked at and you thought, I can't remember how to do that. Oh, right. There's his tail in there. Watching me hand sew is probably not an exciting thing. Should have done the other one. Now, if I was at home, this would be a lot tidier. Okay, I would make a much better job of this. Make sure I don't catch the tail. So we'll do a couple of stitches on this end and then we'll put some stuffing in it. Like this. 21st of September, there you go. So we're going to show you how to do a jelly roll flip quilt, which I know that there are people out there that have these jelly rolls sat in their stash they don't know what to do with. Well, a jelly roll flip is a really nice way of doing it. So 21st of September, thanks Anne, and you'll be able to come do your own sewing, be like a mini retreat. So we're going to put a little bit of stuffing in here and our tuppence. This is going to look like a mousadillo. I loved the idea of having these little mice, but they were really, it was beyond me. Loads of stuffing. Got more stuffing than I need. And you want to slot a tuppence in there as well. I think we should be able to. I'm going to try and put the tuppence. I'm going the other way now. It will work. We're going along here and just finish up here. This takes me back to school days. Blanket stitch by hand. Run along here. So yeah, so you can book through the website or come into the shop and book. I think there's another class. She's got Tree of Life coming up soonish. This month, isn't it? Tree of Life, and you'll be able to you can still book. I think there's still spaces left on it. There we go. So we've got all the way around to the end. Now, if I turn him over, is he going to look like a mouse? Well, sort of. Sort of. But you see the 2 P's in there now. So when I put pins in, it's not going to go through my finger. So we've got a little nose on here, like this. I'm making having trouble getting it to, I think I'm going too tight. So, I have a bit of a nose. And if we put there, we go through to the other side and hold on to it. And go through, back, there. Stick our finger, we're going to get this tied up now. Stick our finger in there. Around my finger. Through. Like that. And then back in there, and then go around his nose again. So you want to keep those sticking out like that, and we're going to cut them. She's got eyes in as well, haven't I? I'd be a real dilly here. There we go. Let's chop that off there. So he now has whiskers. Are you all still with me, or have you gone home? Right. Now, I didn't bring any pink thread, so we're just going to use the black. I'm sewing, doesn't have cramp my hand these days. Tree of Life, 27th of July. It's a good job I've got my secretary on, isn't it? Even whiskers, yes. Look, see, whiskers. White, oh. Right, okay, you need to anchor the whiskers there. Okay, I've ended up with the whiskers coming out, so I will re-put the whiskers in because the whiskers are just come out. Okay, they've not stayed. We've got two whiskers. So with the ears, I'm going to put like a little bend in them. Okay, I haven't thought about this. We now need to get them on there. I'd be interested to see if anybody does these, because they're a bit of a hit and miss. I just loved the idea, and I think they would have worked well with a bit of playing. I tell you who would probably do these really well is Gail from Endless Threads. She, this is just right up her street. I would love to see her little mouse. So there we go. Maybe if I'd have used pink thread for this, it would be a lot better. That'll do for now. So you would want to secure those off like that. You're a sleeping mouse. There you go. Here's our mouse bit. So you're going to want a piece of elastic, and you want it to be, if you cut it the right size for your finger, okay, because you don't want it too tight, and you're going to overlap it a little bit, sew it down, and then sew it to the bottom of the mouse. Okay, got a knot in that. Could you just glue the ears on? You could glue the ears on. Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. In fact, you could probably glue the whole lot together. It would probably work just as well. If you glue some of it, like this bit, you could probably glue this bit on. We're just going to put that on there. And I'm just going to over sew this, I think. Like this. And like I say, if you can find a pattern that works at this small amount, that works for you, I mean, because there are so many people out there that just do not like little bits. I mean, you could create a mini tuffet type pattern. Oh, that might have worked. But again, sewing it by machine, I think, would just be quite difficult. Okay, I'll hold it in place for now. So the idea is you wear that on your finger like this. He's losing his whiskers fast. I mean, he looks like a mouse. He looks like a mouse. So you would just stick your pincushion. You would stick them as you're going along. You're sewing and you're taking them out of your work and pinning them in. There you go. I'm exhausted now, all of that thinking and hand sewing, having to talk to myself. That's real hard for me. I mean, put one of you in here and I could talk the hind legs off a donkey and sell you half the shop. But put me in front of the camera on my own and I'm really... So there's my mouse, okay? I think, I still love this idea. And in fact, he's not a bad little mouse. I think, given the chance to be able to sit and take my time at it, I think it would be all right. This poor little thing, he's got pins in him. Look at that. So there's the mouse. I don't know whether the tail would get on your nose after a bit, which is why I thought hedgehog. Hedgehog would be quite good. However, a hedgehog was even worse because you want to be able to do a separate colour for his face to the rest of his body, and it was just even harder to sew. But I think I'm gonna work on this. I'm sure I can come up with something that that works. But I might take that to my dressmaking class. Could do with it a little bit tighter, I think. But yeah, he sits when you're sewing. Let's have a look. So you would be sewing, and he's not going to get in your way. I mean, Sarah's got a mat, so she could, but with my mouse it can just be putting it in, and because I've got the tuppence, it's not gone through. Like I say, brilliant idea. Not well executed, but brilliant idea. Okay, the large squares that we used for yesterday's vlog, I used a 7-inch square. And the strips were 2 inches wide for each strip, which gave you it would give you a 3.5-inch finished double strip. Okay, and you want them the strips, you want them 13 inches long, and then you cut off a corner. I actually cut mine down at 8 1/4, but all the ones I was doing at home were 8 1/2. Managed to get 8 1/2 out of them. So there you go. That was yesterday. Next week, block of the week will be on Wednesday. Okay, Anne has abandoned me for Tuesday, but she's going to come in on Wednesday. So we're going to do 1 o'clock on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and that will be block of the week. And I'll come up with something for Thursday, something that is a bit more executable. Oh, he's quite cute. I'm quite happy. Right, I'm off. I'm not going to promise you a walk round because it just doesn't happen. But check out the website. There are brand new things on there. There's all new Christmas in there. We've put it all in a Christmas folder under fabric. So have a look in there. I will see you soon. Draw.